Hi, I'm Dr. Troy Campbell, and let's understand confirmation process. All right, so let's imagine Great Gail. You have been told, you've never met Great Gail, but you've been told she is amazing. She always gives great feedback at work. She's nice. She just is so talkative. She's great. She's the person that you want to work with. And you're giving a presentation, and you're excited to have Great Gail come to it. Imagine you're told another person, and you're told that this person is Negative Nancy. She doesn't give much feedback. She isn't very helpful. And when she does, it's confusing and she's mean and negative. All right. Now imagine these people can engage in the exact same actions because in this thought experiment, they're the exact same person. We just have a different stereotype against them. And if they engage in the exact same actions, by the end of the meeting, you will have a very much more negative view of Nancy than you have of Gail. All right, so coming into the meeting, you're trying to have an open mind, so you haven't judged Negative Nancy super negatively. So they're at the same level. And you're giving your presentation, and then over, 5-6 minutes, you realize, hey, I haven't gotten any feedback yet. And if it's Great Gail, you think, well, that is because I must be doing great, and Gail has nothing to say to me. Gail's great, I'm great. But if it's Negative Nancy, that you have that stereotype against the person, then you're going to think, well, I try to have an open mind about Negative Nancy, but I guess, definitely just not given any good feedback. Could be helpful if she did, but she's just being quiet and useless, that negative, quiet, nothing Nancy. All right. Now, later in the meeting, what if the person actually does give some feedback and you find it a little confusing at the start? Well, if it's Gail, you'll turn to her and say, hey, Gail, I know that you give such great feedback. That's what I've heard. So can you just repeat that a little bit? Maybe take as long as you want to explain it to me. Maybe I'm actually not familiar with some of the things you're talking about. And then Gail says, oh, yeah, I can see how that was a little confusing. Let me reframe that. And Gail reframes that, and it sounds great, and it's useful, and you're like, there it is, Great Gail. But imagine instead, it's Negative Nancy that gives that little bit of feedback that is confusing. You look at the person and you say, I don't understand that. And then you just shut them down. You don't get curious and you just keep moving on, and your bias against them is even more confirmed, and potentially the judgment you're holding in your head is even more certain and negative. Same exact relative actions lead to different outcomes because of how you immediately judge and how you engage in curious actual behaviors that elicits the truth, right? It can be the exact same person doing almost the exact same thing, but if you have a positive versus negative stereotype, it can lead to different outcomes.